What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Stocks by the Numbers, and today I wanted to jump into a company that I know was getting a lot of attention back in the day. A lot of people were hoping that this was going to be their high flyer, and now the company has been continuing in a downtrend and really selling off. And I know people, we see a very cheap share price like this, and we are just hoping and wondering if we should step in and if this son of a bitch is going to explode back up to $10, $12, $20 and we're going to make a killing. Well, of course, anything is possible, but let's be realistic. Let's come back down to earth. Let's look at the company and let's see what the heck is going on, right? Camber Energy, Camber, whatever. Ticker symbol CEI, New York Stock Exchange American. Stock here $1.79, down about 2% on the day. Looking at the year range, you can see, and the day range actually, that the company made a new 52-week low today with a 52-week high of $99. So just looking at a range like that, you need to know this is a gamble. This is ridiculously speculative. The company more than likely has done a reverse stock split recently. And again, if we're looking at a company like this, considering it to be a buy, you have to remember that the street established a new 52-week low for it today, right? So if we say it's going down to $1, we're not crazy. We're not pulling that out of thin air because it's basically down like every day, right? So let's look at what's going on. We have a market cap, we'll call it like 30 million, but we come down here, we look quarterly, and you can see the company's doing $150,000 in revenue. Hey, listen, at least they're doing something, right? But if we compare that to the market cap, obviously it's like 20 times these numbers. But if we switch over annually, you can see the company was doing several million back in 17 and 18, right? Which is interesting. So like under Trump, they were kind of rocking and rolling, bringing in a couple of million. Then it began to pull back. I don't know if we can blame all of this on COVID, because it says that the company is headquartered out of Houston, Texas, and it says that most of the land that they're drilling on is, I believe, in South Oklahoma and like West Texas, maybe. So, not the most liberal states out there that we have. So chances are, mandates or any regulations were probably lifted sooner than later for this company in the South Midwest region over there. But, going forward here to 2021, we can see the company lost millions of dollars and brought in about $400,000. So again, like I say, at least they're doing some business. However, the losses are seriously outweighing the actual business income itself. And anytime analysts and shareholders see a company just spending millions of dollars to stay afloat, that is usually never a good sign. It usually never works out well in the long term. Here we have articles, right? Just a day ago, well, will it break above $2 or will it fall further, right? Like if that's the premise of the article, then it deserves to be lower, right? In my opinion, that's how I would look at it. But I will say with these natural gas and oil drilling companies, a lot of people say that they maintain their value based on like the leases that they hold, the land they have under their belt, whatever existing projects, and of course the equipment that they use, right? So it might not be a ridiculously overinflated value. However, the trend, as we see, down 95% over the course of the last 12 months, this is something that me personally, I would not buy right now. Even if I had $1 million, I would not roll the dice with a company like this. Maybe 1,000, see if it turns out. But at the end of the day, also, I don't know if I would step in here at this level with my hypothetical $1,000 that I could afford to lose, because it's probably going to keep going lower, right? If I showed you this chart 6 months ago, you'd probably say, oh, it's going to go lower. Now, if I showed you this chart 2-3 months ago and I say, oh, would you buy it at $7, $8? You'd say, no, it's probably going to go lower, right? Now I show it to you at $2, sub $2. Say, oh, would you buy it? You're going to say, no, it's probably going to go lower. And you would be right. In my opinion, I think this is going to be sub $1. I think they are going to have potential delisting issues, which they have already run into, causing the company to do yet again another reverse stock split, which I'm going to get into in a second. I just want to look over here at stock charts just to show you guys that there's not much going on, right? We have a potential curl here on a MACD, here on the daily. Obviously, the company has been in a massive downtrend, just breaking bottom Bollinger Bands and continuing to sell off here. We had the big one pop here, but I believe that was the date of the reverse split announcement, which I'm going to get into. But I just wanted to say that some of the indicators that we use, like an RSI, Relative Strength Index, which, again, for those of you who don't know, if it's below 30, that is used as the benchmark to tell traders and investors that the stock is potentially oversold. The benchmark on the high end is 70. If it gets to 70, a lot of people feel that the company is now overbought and it's time for a pullback. It's time for a sell-off. So between 30 and 70, supposedly, is a sweet zone there. But a lot of people see a number like this with an RSI here, 28 1/3, and they say, oh, well, it's under 30, so it's a buy, right? No. First of all, nothing is guaranteed. Nothing means anything. Nothing is set in stone, right? I'm sure there were even technical analysts out there who can tell you that they were for sure certain that they saw a double bottom or a head and shoulders or an inverse cup and handle on a chart, and then the stock just completely headed in the opposite direction, and it just didn't work out. It didn't pan through. There were so many times I've bought stocks because they were in a descending wedge, and then they just broke and continued to go lower instead of popping out of them, and vice versa with ascending wedges. So that's why, really, I would say depending on your success would probably depend on how you would and what metrics you would use to invest into a company. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Listen, bottom line is the chart may be setting something up. That's what I mean. You might have a pop here from $1.79 to $2.05 here in the short term and might think you're king shit because you're going to make a quick 20%. But let me tell you something. You can wake up tomorrow and be up 20%, or you can wake up tomorrow and be down 50%. That's the kind of situation we're dealing with here. So, again, I understand if you're involved in the company, you might come back in the comments section like, you don't know what you're talking about, they're doing this, they're doing that. And listen, that's all great. But the problem is that they were doing better back under Trump. Now you have Biden behind the wheel, and the price of oil per barrel has completely skyrocketed, and this company is in the shitter, and that's what they do, is drill for oil, right? So that's what I'm saying. This company may be running into a massive issue here, a massive roadblock, because now I understand they accumulated some land for like a $69 million deal. I'll bring up the article in a second. They're doing, some leases, they're doing some drilling, and listen, that's all phenomenal. But now, with the price of oil the way it is, now is the time you need to be producing. But I'm going to get back to that in a second because, again, we're in a massive downtrend. The MACD could potentially turn. This is a value trap there, in my opinion. And if we switch over here to the weekly even, we can see, look at the RSI, sub 23.5, right? But look at how low it has been, right? It has been around 20. Look at this horrendous chart. Even if we go back to the daily, right? Oh, 28, it's attractive. No, it's not. Look, it was down here at 14. It was over here at 19, 20, 21, right? So 28 isn't your buy signal. It could go to 7. But switching over here to TradingView, because I wanted to show you guys something. We pull up a one-year chart. We start scrolling back. We can see big volume coming in towards the end of last year. Big volume coming in towards the end of 2021, and of course big volume coming in the end of last year, a couple of weeks ago, 2022, right around the time of, you guessed it, reverse stock split 1 for 50, because they received some pressure from the exchange talking about getting potentially delisted, so they had to take action, and of course reverse stock split. Back in 2019, 1 for 50 reverse split. 1 for 25 reverse split. Those were both in 2019. 2018, 1 for 25, right? So the company is basically just continuing to reverse split its stock just to basically maintain its relevance on the exchange. Because again, if they were really rocking and rolling and drilling, when you had these pops, it would maintain or go higher, not start selling off. When you had these rises, it would maintain or stay flat, not continue to sell off. When massive volume came into the stock and drove it up to the moon, and probably all the short-term smart money made money hand over frickin' fist, you got involved when it dipped down thinking you were buying an overvalued stock at a low price, and then it sold off, had the pop, and then it sold off, right? So it's not maintaining any value. So that's why I'm saying, even if it goes from $1.79 to $3.80 tomorrow, I know that next week it's going to be below $1.79, right? And I'm sure you guys can understand how I got there. But the reverse splits, in my opinion, are just killing the overall value of the company. As we see here, a couple of days ago, entered to acquire all membership interest in Southeast Renewables LLC and its subsidiaries, which obviously we don't really know much about. And even when I tried to look up the company, I actually got like 2-3 different companies, but I think it's a company based out of Florida with only like a handful of employees. regains compliance just a few days ago with continued listing standards. Right, see, and then you have articles like this: energy stocks gaining strength after WTI crude oil climbs past $80 per barrel. Well, not CEI, right? That's what I was saying, that this company needs to be rocking and rolling now, not later. 69 million in cash and stock. Acquisition working interest in about 169 proved producing oil wells, 174 proved non-producing wells, and 12 proved undeveloped well locations. Sellers' internal estimates. Reserves indicate a total proved reserve value of about 185 million as of January 1st, 2023. So this is what I was talking about when I was quickly talking about the politics and the fact that this company is just taking too long to get into gear, right? They were supposedly rocking and rolling again in 2018, 2019 when the price per barrel was significantly lower than it is now. Now with these overinflated prices, 185 million, but it cost them 70 million, right? And it's probably going to cost like 20, 30 million to get that oil out. So now they're only making like 70 million if they're lucky off of 185 million. 70 million, you paid 69 million to get it. So number one, I don't know if the numbers add up and it's going to turn out to be worth it for them. Number two, everyone hates Joe Schmo right now behind the wheel and the high price of gas. So that means that number three, people will most likely vote in the opposite direction in 2024. They're probably going to lean more towards a Republican, lower gas prices, which is going to mean lower prices per barrel of oil, which is going to mean that this supposed total proved reserve value of 185 million as of a few days ago may have a proved reserve value of about 85 million when they potentially actually start extracting it. So that's why, in my opinion, this company needs to start rocking and rolling now. They cannot wait, because if they do start moving at the end of 23 going into 24, I'm telling you right now that if this company actually does start to produce these barrels and it does start to gain a little bit of value based on that news, then what's going to happen is, now the traders are going to tie it in directly with the price of a barrel of oil. And again, that's what I'm saying, going into election year and people, experts, political experts, seeing that a Republican, whether it's Trump or not, is more than likely going to win, then you're going to see investors jumping on board early, anticipating a lower price for crude. So companies like this are going to start selling off on the anticipation of a lower oil price, right? I know I'm kind of all over the place here and I threw a lot of things at you guys, but I'm sure you appreciate all the angles I'm bringing, and I'm confident that you see the big picture as well as I do, right? So, if there's anything I missed, I always say if there's any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comments section. That's why I say if there's something I missed, or if you own the stock, you heard something good, you heard something bad, drop it down in the comments section so that we can have the back and forth and really analyze even more in depth a company like a CEI, so that everyone watching or reading the comments can really see if they want to take a risk and get some exposure here, or if they just want to sit on their hands and just wait to see what happens or look for a different company. But I'm going to leave it there. So once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comments section. I'm usually very quick to reply. Just like everyone on YouTube says, if you like the video, thumbs up. If you like the video, subscribe. But more importantly, new year, right? First week in the books. I hope everyone had a decent week. But again, last year was last year. This year is this year. I want you guys to stay positive, stay focused, be enthusiastic, believe in yourself. And thanks for stopping by. I'll see you guys in the next one.